Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everybody. Happy July 1st. It is halfway through 2022. We have made it halfway around the sun, and we have a fabulous remainder of 2022 left. But today, July 1st, I did a little research, and today is like one of the, I think it's the third highest travel day in the United States, second to the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and the days just before or after Christmas. So there is a whole lot of movement going on today. And we have an amazing guest that we're going to talk to about the travel and how to do it safely, because research is saying there's going to be about 48 million people on the move today. Woo, hold on to your hats. So as you know, I am Deb Burton, the Executive Director of RI Elder Info and creator of RIElderInfo.com. And we maintain the most comprehensive resources for seniors, for caregivers, and for the professionals who serve them. And every Friday, I come on and give you Friday Friends, where I interview different organizations and people who are doing some really amazing things that you need to know about out there. But we are a nonprofit, and we could not do what it is that we do for our community, for maintaining the information, for getting the word out to you, if it weren't for the support of our donors, who are absolutely amazing, and our sponsors. So I have to give a big shout out to Oak Street Health, to Aetna. They are a wonderful Medicare provider, insurance provider, to United Health. They are also a Medicare insurance provider, and they provide comprehensive resources for individuals who are also eligible for Medicaid. And I also have to say thank you to Tamarisk Assisted Living. They are an amazing little assisted living right in Warwick. Susan and Sean will just help you navigate that system of having your loved one move in. And because you're watching this right now, you see the magic of 321 Media. Ben Barber is behind the scenes, and he makes everything just magically appear on the screen and makes this all look good and easy. And you visited RIElderInfo.com, I'm sure. If not, as soon as we're done, you will visit RIElderInfo.com. That is through the amazing work of England Studio. They are an award-winning web design team that is located here in Rhode Island, but can serve your needs anywhere literally in the world. They are an amazing group of folks over there. So like I said, we have almost 48 million people hitting the roadways today. So really important that you put on your seatbelt. But I would like to invite up Lorna Oinonen, who is the state coordinator for Rhode Island and Massachusetts of the AARP Driver Safety Program. And Lorna, how bad did I say your last name? I always stumble on it.
Actually, it was perfect.
Oh, good.
Most people do have a hard time with it. So, but that was perfect. Actually,
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
And also, thank you for the segue, because what you were talking about the driving today, and when we teach this class, one of the things we talk about is the safest times of the year to travel. And you're right, holidays, especially the 4th of July and Christmas, Thanksgiving, are some of the busiest times that people are traveling, especially driving. So the accidents go way up. Okay. So anyway, sorry.
No, it's true. I have seen, I think, 4 accidents in 3 days, and that's really unusual. And the other thing I kind of noticed during COVID, when everybody was really kind of working from home, those folks who were not working from home seem to have this strange thing happen. Their right foot got extra heavy, and the speeds on the highway have really gone up. And now that people are not working from home anymore, it's a little crazy out there. I gotta say, it's a little crazy. People are not paying attention.
Yeah, it is what you're talking about during COVID. What happened, and studies prove this, people forgot how to drive because they weren't going out as often, and especially older people because they don't drive that much to begin with. So, there was a lot more stress involved and there were more accidents for people that did actually get out and do some driving. So you were right about that.
It's crazy. And
Yeah.
it seems like there's just more incidences in general, not even necessarily on the road, but more incidences of people being cranky. Like just not nice. If you need to merge, it's try to get in NASCAR.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's so true. And that people being cranky and people being mean on the road, we teach in the class, the driver safety class, that people, if you're driving and you have an aggressive driver being near you, especially on highways, try to get out of their way as soon as you can. And we give really good tips about that. In other words, if you see the car approaching, don't engage in a conversation with them or being nasty towards them or blowing your horn. Try to get away from them as soon as you can and get into a safer lane of traffic is what we tell people. Because if you aggravate them, it's only going to get worse. So
that's true. It was interesting. It was a Saturday morning. I merged onto 295. 295, the speed limit on 295 is 65.
Yep.
So I'm merging into traffic, coming up to speed. And all of a sudden, there's a car that passes me on the right-hand side, easily doing 80 or 90 miles an hour, past 6 cars in front of me. We are in the right-hand lane before he cut people off to go to the left-hand lane. And I was like, you startled me to the point that, like, I snapped the wheel a little bit, like, oh my God, like I was not expecting a fast-moving object on my right.
Sure.
And I was like, I was thinking some very unkind thoughts towards the person. I gotta say.
But you did get out of his way.
I did.
Sure.
Yeah, because I was like, holy cow, wherever he's going, whatever he's doing, he's not being safe. And I don't want that insanity in my life or to run into my life.
And that is true. You don't. You were smart to do that anyway.
Yeah. So what is the AARP driver safety program?
It's a program that was started back in 1919, and it got started as 55 Alive program is what it was called. And the reason they named it that was because at that time, 55 was the time when most people that were driving could get into an accident and get hurt because not being as, they're being more fragile. So today they've raised that to like 80 in your 80s. You're probably a very safe driver. And to be honest with you, older drivers are safer drivers. But the problem is if they get into an accident, the chances of them surviving are less because they're more fragile. And that's the issue there. But anyway, the program was started to keep people alive and to keep people more confident on the road so they could stay driving longer and feel confident about what they were doing. And we've actually reached about 18 million drivers throughout the world. Yeah, since the program started. It's now called AARP Driver Safety. And by taking the course, and that's when we have the course, we ask that question, why are you here? And in Rhode Island in particular, because we are a mandated state, which means that if you take a driver safety course, and AAA has one as well, you're eligible for a discount on your automobile insurance, provided you've had a safe driving record for 2 years, and you're eligible for that. And people will go, well, what's the benefit? What do I get from my insurance company? And you have to check with your insurance company because each one is different. Some offer, like maybe a 25% discount, and some a little less, some a little more. So we tell people you have to check with your insurance company. But that is one of the reasons people are there. The other reason is to learn what's changed. Because over the years, when you think about it, look at how automobiles have changed, okay? And look at how you change as we get older. What happens is, your eyesight might change. I'm wearing glasses now. Okay, I had cataract surgery, things like that. So that happens as you get older. And things like all of that happens. And the other thing to think about is when today's 60-year-old driver was 16, airbags were not a standard feature in the cars. Okay. And then when today's 72-year-old driver was 16, the Department of Transportation would not be created for another few years. Okay. Another year. So we've come a long way since then. If we didn't have the Department of Transportation to help us on the roads and different things, we've come a long way. But when you think about it, we talk about what's changed over the years. That's what the course really targets. Our abilities, because as we get older, we're not as, coordinated as we used to be. We have to start to think differently, and our cognitive abilities might be changing. All of those things can happen as we age. Okay. Cars have changed. When did we ever think we were going to have an electric car or a self-driving car? Okay.
Yeah. Huh?
I mean, we've come so far, and the roads have changed. Like now, one of the big issues with older drivers is the roundabouts. And the
Oh, I
rotary.
hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. Oh, I get lost going around in circles. I'm like, when is my turn? And it's just a nightmare for me. Good morning, Patrick.
And you're not alone, because you hear in the class, I hear that every time from a lot of the participants, and so we try to help them with that. And the reason they have more roundabouts, or rotaries as we used to call them, in some states they still call them rotaries, but the roundabouts is what we have here in Rhode Island. And the reason they're there is because they claim, all the studies they have done, that it's safer for people and it's less expensive, in other words, to run. And that's probably the real key one. But
probably.
Yeah. but the point of it is, once you know how to navigate through one of them, through a roundabout, it does get safer and it is easier. What I always say is, remember to yield. Okay, that's the important thing to the traffic coming towards you. The other thing that's changed are the state laws, and we know that, and they're always changing. And so we discuss all of that in the class, and we actually give Rhode Island state specific information so people understand what that is. Say if you're not wearing your seatbelt, that's an $85 fine. And the other thing that a lot of people don't realize is it's a fine if you're driving without your seatbelt. But if you have passengers in the car and they don't have their seatbelts on, you're responsible for paying their fine as well. So that's another thing to remember, because sometimes people don't like to wear a seatbelt.
Yep.
But anyway, those are just some of the laws that have been out there. And the other thing I want to mention is, besides driver safety, AARP has 3 other programs, which are also very helpful. One being Smart Tech. And this is available online right now, but it will be coming out in person probably in the fall. Okay. And that one there talks about all the gadgets in your car. If you recently bought a new car and you go to the dealership to pick up your car, and they go, okay, this is what the car does. And they walk you through all the different things on the car. And then you drive away and you go, what did that person just say? Well, the Smart Tech class actually goes through all of those gadgets and tells you what they mean and how you can use them and how they help you to stay safe on the road. So that's one. The other one is CarFit, which we did. That class was founded by AARP, AAA, and the American Occupational Therapists Association. So the 3 organizations got together and came up with this program. And that's an in-person program. And it's going to start up again in the fall, because we had to cancel it because of COVID, but you can still get that online, as well as the Smart Tech program, which I didn't mention. That's available online as well. But the CarFit is really talking to make sure you are the right fit for the car, how to adjust your mirrors, to make sure you can see the cars coming from your left and your right and behind you properly. Mm-hmm. Your distance between yourself and the steering wheel should be at least 10 inches, and you should be able to see at least 3 inches above the steering wheel. So it goes through all of that. And
so with the CarFit event, because sometimes as we get older, we get a little shorter.
Yeah.
Is the CarFit event able to kind of take that into account, or adjust mirrors or extend pedals, things like that? Can they do that kind of thing so that we can still sit properly, even though we physically might be smaller?
Yeah. What they can do is they can help you with maybe get a pillow for your car. And that's why the occupational therapists are there. So when we did a CarFit event, we had that situation where a person came in and they were not comfortable in their seat and they couldn't see properly over the steering wheel. And so we directed them to the occupational therapists. They were there at the CarFit event, and they recommended a pillow that you use to help you raise yourself in the car, whether it's sitting on it or your back, either way. And they would tell you the right one to get to help you with that. We do what we do is at the CarFit event is a person drives up and they stop the car and a technician comes over. We have a checklist and we say, are you the only one driving the car? Do you adjust the mirrors? All that stuff. And we show them how to adjust their mirrors. We make sure they're a proper distance, all of that. We had a woman one time who came and she had her pocketbook between her feet and the gas pedal on the floor. I know. That's exactly, and we look at each other and we go, well, do you always keep your purse there? And she said, yeah, I do. And we said, it's really not a good idea because if you have to stop fast, and she said, oh, I never thought of that. But anyway, those are the kind of things you find.
Yeah.
But again, that's a free event, and we hope to be having those in the fall. And when we do, I'll let Deb know, and you can maybe post it so people know. I appreciate that. But anyway, it will be advertised, and we're hoping to have them again in person in the fall. But you can do it now online. That's also available online. Okay. And the last one, and I know I'm digressing here, but the last one was the We Need to Talk, and that's about people having a loved one or maybe yourself, you're not being comfortable behind the wheel anymore. And it talks about the things you need to do to think about stopping to drive, the conversations and all that kind of stuff. And that's available online also. And that's free.
That is one of the most difficult conversations, I think, because if you think about when you're younger, you can't wait to get the keys to the car, to learn how to drive, because that represents freedom and independence and being able to get out of the house. And then sometimes as we age, having that conversation about not being safe to drive anymore is one of the most difficult conversations because it represents everything in reverse.
It's true.
And we don't have a robust transportation system here in Rhode Island that can really help people continue to get around to the places that they want to go. Mm-hmm. We're good for, getting back and forth for non-emergency medical transportation. But if you wanted to go get your hair cut or visit your friend, and there's definitely classes out there to learn how to do like an Uber or a Lyft. Yeah. But that conversation about when to stop driving is one of those things that it's really difficult. And did you say that class is available online right now, or that
yes, okay? It is available online, and it gives you all the tips you need. Like if you have a loved one that you're noticing it maybe is time for them to give up the keys, it gives you some tips about how you approach the conversation with that person. It also gives you a checklist. So when you sit down with them, you talk about, well, they might say, well, how am I going to get my haircut? Or, how am I going to get here? And you have to make a list with them of all the places they would go and then try to figure out how they're best going to get there. And what happens sometimes is that person might say, well, you're going to drive me, because, but you are not always able to, and so they talk a little bit about, like you said, the Uber and the Lyft. The issue with both of those is you need to use your cell phone. And sometimes the older person might not be able to do that. But there's also something called Go Grandparent, which is another very good one. And that one there you can just call. And I think Lyft is now doing that too. You can call them. But it also talks about the cost to own an automobile. Mm-hmm. And it gives them a spreadsheet to fill out. And when you think about the cost, it can be up to $9,000 a year just to keep the car running. And that money they could use for alternate transportation, like taking a Lyft or an Uber or something like that, And some of the towns, senior centers, have buses and shuttles. Well, they'll pick up people too, which is another nice thing. And I know some of the different towns in Rhode Island offer rides for seniors as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And some of the more rural communities are really working that out among their own communities. So I know Burrillville, for example, has a transportation van for its residents specifically. I literally just read this morning that Foster is in the process of getting their van for Foster residents.
Nice.
So we are developing it. Need drives innovation.
Yeah.
And I think that's, really good in a lot of ways to really be creative and think outside the box.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that we all kind of learned, that if you're stuck in the house all day, every day, like when everything shut down completely for 2 weeks, so many people were like, I am losing my mind stuck in the house.
Yeah.
And it's almost like some of our older adults were kind of like, this is what we are faced with all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
This is not different for us. And so when someone has to stop driving, I think it's still important that their friends, their family still come and get them and take them out. It might be faster to do the grocery shopping for someone than with someone. But boy, oh boy, the act of getting out of the house has its own benefits.
Yeah.
The four walls start closing in on you.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. So when are the classes offered? Are they offered during the day, in the evenings? When are the in-person classes offered?
The in-person are online, and usually you take them at your own pace. Also, they're on there, and you can go in and sign up today, for example, when we get off the call, and maybe the driver's safety class online. That's 4 hours, so you can take it for 15 minutes if you want, and then go back in the next day whenever you're ready, and you can pick it up from there and go on. The Car Fit and the Smart Tech, those are an hour class. And I believe you have the same issue. And they're out there. When you go online to register, it'll tell you, what time it starts and all that. But again, those are all at your own pace. So, and that's a benefit to making sure people can go in, and because you have to sit for a while. So it might be helpful if you can get up and come back to it as well.
Absolutely. Sometimes a 4-hour block of time in front of the computer is a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Patrick had a couple of questions. His first was, what about the drivers who use a phone holder on the windshield above their steering wheel? Is that something that's safe or safer or not good?
It's really not good. I mean, we have the hands-free law in the state of Rhode Island and Massachusetts too. Most states have that now. It can be a distraction unless, I know sometimes people that have disabilities and they have trouble driving, they do have something on their steering wheel to help them to drive. That's accepted. But the phone on the steering wheel, I haven't really heard much about that, but I would think that would be dangerous because it could be a big distraction.
Yep. And that makes sense. If you have it, in your windshield right in your face, you're more likely to look at that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of technology in the cars the car can stop ahead of time. The car will sense it, but that's not necessarily something that you want to just be dependent on. You have to be attentive to driving. Even if the car's driving itself, you still want to be attentive.
Right.
The car is not going to see the deer on the side of the road.
Exactly. Well, I'll give you an example of that, of being distracted. My husband and I used to go to Florida for 3 months every year. Okay. And since COVID, we've stopped, but we would always drive with our dog in the back and whatever. And what happened, when I had stopped working, I used to work in Boston and drive from Rhode Island. So I used to listen to books on tape a lot. So I said to my husband, "Oh, we can listen to a book on tape while we're driving." He's driving, and all of a sudden he missed his exit because he gets so involved listening to the book on tape. He wasn't paying attention to the road. And again, that's a distraction. So what I'm saying is you just have to be really careful. It takes like 1 second, 1 minute just to take your eyes off the road, and something could happen, is really what I'm trying to say about that. But anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And even paying attention, you don't have the ability to predict
Right.
what the person in the car in front of you or next to you is doing, because they may be distracted and just kind of drift into your lane, and you want to be able to react to
Exactly.
that and be safe.
Exactly.
So the programs that are offered by AARP and
Mhm.
AAA, is there a cost involved? Do you need to be an AARP and AAA member? How does that work?
AARP, if you are a member of AARP, the cost of the course is $20. And if you're not, it's $25. Now, AAA, I think, is, if you're a member, I don't think you have to pay. But I'm not really sure. I saw two different issues, but it used to be that if you were a member, you did not have to pay. And I'm not sure if they charge if you're not a member.
Right. But so even if you had to pay $20 or $25,
Mhm.
when you complete the Safe Driver program, I'm assuming you'll get some kind of certificate that
Yes.
you then present to your insurance company. So the savings you would get back from your insurance company is probably going to be more than $20.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly right. They get a certificate at the end of the class, and one goes to their insurance company, one is theirs to keep, and then we have one that we send into National AARP for their processing. So they know how many people and who came and if they were members, all that type of thing.
That's awesome. And Millie Lukens was able to confirm that the AAA course is free for everyone.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because 48 million people on the road today, and it's I'm being highly scientific here. I noticed just in the few minutes that we've been online, the traffic on my street, I live in the country, the traffic on my street has been quite a bit. I've had to hit mute a few times to try to make sure you don't hear the vehicles going by. We might usually get 1 or 2 cars a day.
Wow.
So it's like, all right, I'm seeing RVs go, I'm hearing the motorcycles go, like people are out. And part of it could be that, because of COVID, everybody's been cooped up and they're like, nope, I'm out. We got to do something. We got to celebrate. And it's a long weekend with
Right.
the 4th on Monday.
Exactly. And talking about traffic, I live in Bristol. So
Ooh.
when we first moved here, my husband said, "We're leaving town because you can't move because it's starting already." The traffic if we're going downtown to Bristol for the parade, and they've
Yeah.
got a carnival going and music every night. They got concerts going on. This week has been incredible as far as traffic goes. So I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So the programs are available online at a variety of different times. People register online for the
Yes.
in-person classes. If they don't want to register online for the in-person classes, can they call?
Yes, thank you. They can. They typically, right now we have 25 classes scheduled in Rhode Island, and we have a few. We've got about 18 maybe in Massachusetts scheduled as well. And what they can do is they can contact when you go online to sign up for a class. It'll ask you, do you want to do in person or do you want to do online? And if you say in person and you put your state, it'll come up with a list of all the classes. And on that list will be a phone number for you to call to register. Normally what happens is the host locations that we work with, sometimes it's a senior center, sometimes it's a library, they'll register the people for us, okay? And so you call
Nice.
that number. So then when we get ready to teach the course as a volunteer, I call that center and say how many people, so I make sure I have enough books to bring and all the right documents that I need to hand out and all of that. And I always bring extra just in case somebody decides to drop in, and we don't turn anyone away, obviously. Yeah.
That's good. And is there a test involved? So do people take the class and then take a test?
Good question. That's funny because people always get nervous if you say there's a test. We have quizzes, we call them, but we do them together. And the quizzes are like a recap because there's 6 chapters that we have. And after each chapter will do the quiz, and that's it. We do it together, and people try to do the answers ahead of time, and they get really excited when they find out that they passed it all and everything. But I said, but you're not getting a prize. I'm sorry, no, but
Oh, that's awesome. But do they bring an apple for you for the teacher?
I don't get that either, so that's all right. But
Well, there we go. We need to bring you an apple.
I get the at the end of the class, they have to give us a review, so that's fine. But as long as I want to make sure they walk away with something, even if it's just one way to change or to keep themselves safer on the road. That's my gift. Okay. So.
And it's a gift that is shared with many, because the more safer drivers we have out there, the safer we will all be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lorna, I'm so glad you were able to come on today. Quick question. Do you need volunteers at all to help with the programs?
I really do, especially in Rhode Island. I've gone out of my way to try to get volunteers and not having much luck. So anyone that's interested in becoming a volunteer, whether it's teaching the class or helping with, setting it up and things like that, please contact me, because I would really appreciate that. And it's a fun thing to do. I mean, and actually it's rewarding as well, because you're giving back to the community. Okay. You're keeping people safe. Absolutely. And, and you're meeting all kinds of people as well, which is a nice opportunity. So awesome. It's worth it. It is. So
that is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you came on today, and hopefully we'll get you some more volunteers and people will sign up for the program, because we want to be safer.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, everybody, 48 million people hitting the roads today. And here was a great opportunity for you to take the classes that will make you and the rest of us safer, but also give you a break on your insurance. And you know what? These days, with the prices going crazy, any kind of break that saves us money is definitely worth it. So I really encourage you, reach out to Lorna, check out the Safe Driver program, talk to people, learn how to talk to people about when it is time to give up the keys, what are the alternatives, because I know that's a really hard conversation to have. And here it is, they provide the resources to have that conversation. So lots of fun things coming up for the remainder of the year. I encourage you all to watch Friday Friend every Friday at 9 o'clock. You got to hit the like button, the share, the follow, all those fun things. If you can't watch us on social media, you can listen to us on our podcast, on all the usual places where you would find a podcast. And if you like what we're doing, please feel free to hit the donate button, because it's people like you who help us do what we do for all of our Rhode Islanders. I look forward to seeing you all next week. I hope that you have a wonderful, happy, safe 4th of July weekend. Don't drink and drive. And in the meantime, be well and be kind.
If you like this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.